So I grew up in a family of warriors on both sides. I sort of lived my life with the constant mindset of the what-if scenarios that were going to happen and go wrong, and with the fear that today would be the day that one of those would happen, one of those would come true. So I had reached out to a prior counselor that I had talked to in the past and had what was one of the most eye-opening hours of my life. She explained to me about anxiety. One thing I asked her was, how come I can't remember things? How come I have so few memories from my life in the past? And she explained that I was unknowingly so focused on my anxiety that I wasn't able to focus on the moment, on what I was living, and my brain could only pick one or the other. So I wasn't able to set down for memories, being that I was so focused on the anxiety. Most people probably wouldn't know about it. I can cope with it and keep it under wraps, and I always put on a happy face and, go about my business. But the few that are close to me that I feel comfortable being vulnerable with, that's a different story. They've seen me at my worst when I'm an emotional hot mess. One person, especially my husband, Jared, I feel like I can tell him anything, and he's always there. He's my constant. He's my balance. And I thank God for him all the time. There's some days where I just don't want to deal with anything and I isolate myself. I still carry the guilt of having him have to go through this with me, of him having to deal with it with me. So over time, Jesus has really helped me with my anxiety, really with the people that he's brought into my life through this church and through my business. Specifically, I remember being in Thrive and in Bible study and understanding that it was okay to be vulnerable around these women of God who were kind of intimidating because I was not there. And I found out that they too struggled with stuff. They weren't perfect. They would love me just where I was, the mess that I was, and they encouraged me. But what really made me realize how special they were was they were living a life of Christ. They were showing me how to be Christ-centered versus telling me or preaching it to me. And living it was so much more powerful to me than words ever could have been. I know I've struggled with putting myself first pretty much for forever until I came here and finally understood what it was to have a relationship with God, because I didn't know another way. And since I've learned that, though, I still struggle. I mean, I'm a little bit of a control freak. Those that know me are gonna laugh, but I have trouble relinquishing that and just trusting in him that he knows what's best and that he has already written my story. But it's getting easier the more that I pray about it and the more that I lean on people and go to him with things. It's getting better. My name is Cassandra Newberry, and I am second.